Hey guys, I'm Lamill presenting you the patch report, a summary of the most recent League of Legends patch notes. Patch 3.14, otherwise known as the Pie Patch, is now live for us to accustom ourselves during the pre-season before Season 4 officially starts next year. This patch includes some drastic changes, some people even going as far as saying it feels like a whole new game to them. Let's start with the changes to Summoner's Rift. The most visually obvious change is to the brushes. Most of them have been reduced in size, or their shape has been changed to promote more strategic warding in gameplay. It is now easier to water brush as the shape of them are less wavy. White has also graced us with his presence as the new jungle camp. You can find him near the blue golem and wolves. Speaking of the jungle, monsters now have levels. These levels are equal to the average of all champion levels rounded up and will determine their HP, damage, XP and gold value. The cooldown reduction that blue buff gave is now reduced from 20% down to 10%. Smite's cooldown has been lowered and its damage has been reduced based on champion level. Map objectives have undergone an overhaul with the intent of reducing snowballing and making comebacks a more realistic occurrence. Dragon now grants global gold and local experience based on its level, and if your team is behind, securing Dragon gives you bonus XP allowing you to catch up to your enemies. Dragon is also really beneficial for those who are under-leveled, such as the support, as they are generously granted some of their own bonus XP. Turrets now give more gold to those who participate in destroying them, with the exception of inhibitor turrets. All turrets still grant a global amount of gold, but the amount has changed based on which turrets are destroyed. Now if you win your lane, you won't be giving your teammates as large an advantage as before, as the global gold is lower for outer turrets. Inhibitors have a reduced death timer, and upon being destroyed, the buffs to minions are now localised to their specific lane rather than being global. Following on from changes that reduce snowballing, several have also been made to game flow. A few seconds have been shaved off of death timers so as not to be so punishing early game. Minions are no longer worth more experience based on game time and have a level equal to the average level of champions. Therefore, the experience required to level up has been reduced. As well as early death timers previously being too punishing, kill and assist rewards have also changed for this reason. Kills are now worth less before the 4-minute mark, and assists are worth half the kill value before 20 minutes, increasing up to 80% at the 35-minute mark. A nice gold bonus for all the supports out there, or anyone who's racking up the assists, as you will now gain additional gold per assist so long as you have a minimum of 2 assists. Targeting proxy farming, every 1000 gold you earn from minions and monsters reduces your death sprint by 1. Now that we've covered all of the changes to Summoner's Rift, let's take a look at changes to items. Vision plays a very important role in the game, and most of this responsibility was left to supports. In an effort to spread this responsibility across the entire team, trinkets have been introduced. Getting their own item slot, teammates with full build can now participate in warding the map. There are 3 free vision relics called Warding Totem, Scrying Orb and Sweeping Lens. Warding Totem places a stealth ward, which is the new name for sight wards, and it lasts for 60 seconds. Scrying Orb reveals a ranged location for 1 second. Sweeping Lens disables and reveals nearby hidden wards, traps or devices for 4 seconds. They automatically upgrade when you reach level 9 and can then be upgraded for 475 gold. Each upgrade adds things like longer duration, larger cast range and other interesting features. Stealth wards, as mentioned before, are now limited to 3 per player. This includes wards placed by Sightstone. Vision wards are no longer stealthed, now with 5 health and only 1 can be placed per player. Rest in peace Oracle's Elixir, because this item along with Eliza's Miracle has been removed. Doran's Blade and Longsword are now cheaper along with a couple of other small changes. Philosopher's Stone, Karge's Pick and Emblem of Valor have been remade with the intention of providing more variation in gold items that can be built into the late game. However, we are limited to buying just one. These new gold items are Spell Thief's Edge, Frostfang, Frost Queen's Claim, Ancient Coin, Nomad's Medallion, Talisman of Ascension, Relic Shield, Targon's Brace and Face of the Mountain. Each of these items has a gold bonus, such as 2 gold per 10 seconds, or gaining 2 gold just by being near an ally who kills a minion. Items that were built from the old gold generation items now have new recipes, such as Aegis of the Legion, Banner of Command, Mikhail's Crucible, Ohm Wrecker, Will of the Ancients, and Twin Shadows. Along with changes to the jungle, there have also been changes to jungle items. Hunter's Machete, Spirit Stone, and Madred's Razors have been tweaked, while Wriggle's Lantern and Spirit of the Spectral Wraith have been remade. Spirit of the Elder Lizard and Spirit of the Ancient Golem have also seen a few changes. Now onto one of the most important aspects of the game, the champions. Quite a few have seen some changes. Corki's Phosphorus Bomb now detonates after it lands instead of instantly upon being cast. Gragas's Barrel Roll now has a small buffer before the barrel reaches its destination, where it can be activated again to explode on arrival. His Body Slam now deals full damage to all targets hit as opposed to being divided amongst them. Morgana's ultimate now displays the radius to both her and her victims for the duration of the effect. Nasus has had a complete visual makeover, including new animations and particles, and his lifesteal has been rescaled in order to reduce his sustain in the early levels. Nautilus's passive has been buffed so as to enhance his late game utility and usefulness in teamfights. Nidalee's Javelin Toss now deals damage calculated by where her spear is thrown from when it hits the target. It no longer gains damage from distance travelled until it exceeds her human auto attack range. Nunu's Consume, cooldown, damage and heal have been reduced at earlier ranks. Siva's Boomerang Blade now scales with total attack damage rather than bonus attack damage. Vayne can no longer queue up a basic attack on a champion after hitting them with Condemn. With a lot of focus being on the supports this patch, it only makes sense that the support champions have undergone some changes. Leona will be able to take on the role of a tank more easily, as her Eclipse gains armour equal to 20% of her bonus armour and gains magic resistance equal to 20% of her bonus from magic resistance. Janna's passive is now ranged as opposed to global and grants 5% movement speed as opposed to 3. Her Howling Gale and Zephyr now scale with ability power, and her Eye of the Storm now grants additional attack damage based on her ability power. Lulu's Whimsy no longer has an ability power bonus, and the base movement speed buff has been lowered. However, Pix, Glitter Lance and Whimsy will all scale with ability power. Nami's passive now grants higher movement speed as well as scaling with ability power, as does her Ebb and Flow. This means that each subsequent bounce will heal and damage more than the last. Sona's Crescendo and Hymn of Valor have had the ability power ratio reduced so as not to be too strong with the new gold changes, but she has an added ability power ratio to her power chords which will allow her to scale better into the late game. Soraka has been given an all-new passive which makes her health and mana restoring abilities more effective based on the amount the target is missing. Her base health, health per level and armour have all been increased. Now if she hits a target with Star Call, the cooldown of Astral Blessing is reduced. Her ultimate now affects untargetable allies. Finally, Tarik's passive now means that after he casts a spell, his next auto attack deals 30% of his armour as magic damage and reduces the cooldown of his abilities. His Imbue has a lower ability power ratio and now scales with a percentage of his bonus health. Tarik's Shatter now scales even more with armour, and the Shred scales with a percentage of his armour. Lastly, I'll cover the client, in-game UI and mastery updates. The client has been changed so that you can now suppress and mass dismiss notifications, and the friends list has been given a makeover. In-game, you will notice updated champion health bars. Your own is now a separate colour to your team's. Smite's particles, sound and icon are all changed. Riot have implemented several new masteries, and all previous mastery pages have of course been wiped. So log on and have a play around with the new mastery pages and save them ready for your games. And that's it for 3.14's patch report. You can find tons of esports content from Oceania and around the world, such as articles and videos on eGamingNetwork.com. Until next patch, good luck and have fun, summoners.